morning, students. So in earlier class, we have seen so what is the different criteria used for the design of machine components subject to the fluctuating type of stresses. So let us go with a brief review about that. After that, we can proceed with the applications. That is an example problems that we can apply those criteria to design some of the machine components in this class. Okay, let us dive into this class. So here, so first of all, you can see so the design for fluctuating stresses in earlier class we have discussed this graph. So here, so on x-axis we are taking the mean stress. On y-axis we are taking the stress amplitude. These are the two terms of stresses. We can observe two components of stresses we are observed in the fluctuating stresses. So first component is mean stress that we are taken on x-axis, and another component is stress amplitude we are taken on y-axis. So here, if the fluctuating stress or whatever the stress acting on the machine component, so having a zero stress amplitude, there is no stress amplitude, that is zero. So that which means if there is no stress amplitude means so there is no fluctuating. So which means the design of machine components that are purely based upon the stress yielded results, yield stress or ultimate strength. These are the two strengths or two stress values that the machine components are going to design when there is no stress amplitude. So here, when the stress amplitude is zero, so the design based upon the yield strength as well as the ultimate strength, these two values are noted on x-axis. And similarly, if the mean stress is zero, so which means so for the mean stress is zero, the stresses are having the magnitudes are same in tensile and compression, which means it is a completely reversed type of stress. So for that stresses, the mean stress is zero. So that is the fluctuating stresses. So having the stress amplitude which will be the maximum. So in that cases, so the strength we consider for design is a endurance strength that we can note it here. So that is endurance strength. Clear? So here, so we can also draw a yield line here. So that is the yield line here. So which joins the yield strength on y-axis to the yield strength on x-axis. That is what we call as yield line. So now we can apply both the components of stresses on the machine component, that is stress amplitude as well as the mean stress on the machine component. Then we can observe different failure points here. So all these dots which indicates the failure points. And then we can join curve. So from endurance strength to the ultimate strength. So by means of parabolic curve, so which will pass us through all these failure points. And the criteria we call it as Gerber criteria or Gerber line. So here we can also notice some of the failure points that will lie under this region. So that in order to avoid those failure region, so we can come up with another alternative criteria. So that will join endurance strength to the ultimate strength again. So that we can join these 2 points by means of straight line instead of the parabolic curve. That the criteria we call it as Goodman line criteria. That is the line joins endurance strength to the ultimate strength. Clear? So either you can observe, so here are these criteria which can deals with the failure of the machine components, but it does not bother about the failure of the machine components that is under yielding. So if case, so if the stress amplitude is very much low, but with the maximum mean stress, you can observe the material is going to fail in yielding. So that is this is the region where there is a chance of component going to fail. So even it is not failing in fatigue, but it can fail in yielding. So that the reason. So one more criteria is going to arise here. That is the line which joins endurance strength to the yield strength. And these criteria we call it as Soderberg criteria. So here it is not okay. This Soderberg line. Clear? So these are the 3 criteria. So one is curve joins endurance strength to the ultimate strength, we call it as Gerber line, and instead of the curve, we can join by means of straight line from endurance strength to the ultimate strength. We call it as Goodman line. And there is one more line. So we can also consider the failure in yielding, so that we can go with the alternative criteria that joins endurance strength to the yield strength by means of a straight line called as Soderberg line. So out of which, so here compared to the Gerber curve and the Soderberg line, so instead of going with the parabolic equation, which is relatively easy with the designs of Goodman's line using the simple straight line equation, so that you can go with the Goodman's line instead of the Gerber curve. So why? Because it is having a parabolic equation and this is the straight line equation, which is simpler to simplify, as well as some of the failure points that can fall below the region of the parabolic curve. So which is the safest? So which is not safest for that design, so that you can go with the alternative criteria, which are the safest compared to the Gerber curve. So that is the Goodman's line criteria. Clear? So here I can mention the three equations for the three criteria. So one is a Soderberg line. So that is a sigma m by sigma y plus sigma v by sigma e equal to 1. Similarly for Goodman's line, so that is a straight line equation, that is sigma m indicates the mean stress divided by yield strength plus variable stress by endurance strength equal to 1. For Goodman's line, so which can join endurance strength to the ultimate strength, there is only the difference. Instead of sigma y here, we can use sigma u, that is the ultimate strength, sigma m by sigma u plus sigma a by or sigma a or sigma v. So both are same, so stress amplitude or variable stress, so sigma v by sigma e equal to 1. And similarly Goodman's line, sigma a by sigma e plus sigma m square plus sigma u square equal to 1, which is the parabolic form. So but majority of the cases we can use these two methods, so Soderberg line method and Goodman's line method, which are the straight line equations. Clear? So here, so in the previous class we have discussed that, so there is an endurance strength, estimation of endurance strength. We need to reduce the value of endurance strength with respect of actual machine component from the test specimen we are observed. So that so whatever the derating factors we are observed here, that is surface finish factor, so we can denote with K surface. Similarly K size factor, K size. So similarly there is a K load, like that we are having different factors, as well as the fatigue load, fatigue stress concentration factor Kf. So here, so these endurance strength can be multiplied by all the derating factors directly in the equation. So that equation is given by sigma v by sigma e into, so K size, K surface, whatever the derating factors are there, that you can substitute it here. And but for the variable stress can be multiplied by fatigue stress concentration factor Kf. So all the derating factors, size factor, surface factor, or load factor, or temperature factor, or reliability factor, that are multiplied to endurance strength in the equation. But the fatigue stress concentration factor can be multiplied to the variable stress or stress amplitude sigma L. So please remember that. So that can modify the equations. Clear? So these are the equations we are going to use for solving the problems or giving the design. So let us go with some example problems how we can solve by using this Goodman's line method and Soderberg line method. Clear? So here, so this is the one of the example problem for Goodman's and Soderberg line. So let us see. So this is a cantilever rod. So we know that what is cantilever rod is. One end of the rod is fixed end. So and another end is free end. That is what cantilever means. And it is having a circular cross section. So that is a rod is a circular member. So which means so this is diameter. So circular member. And its length is 120 mm. So their length is mentioned. So that is 120 mm length. Clear? So is subjected to a cyclic transverse load. So transverse load in the sense it can go into, so that is acting perpendicular to the axis, which means it is acting in this direction. Some color here. Load will be acting. So that is this rod is tends to transverse in this direction. So that is fluctuates. So varying from 100 newtons to 300 newtons. That is minus 100 to 300. So which means the minimum is minus 100 newtons, and maximum is plus 300 newtons. And we need to find the diameter of rod here. So the diameter is not mentioned. So diameter is need to be found out. So and by means of two methods. One is the Soderberg method as well as the Goodman's method. And factor of safety is given. So FOS is given, as well as the theoretical stress concentration factor, that is KT is given, and Q. So that is Snoth sensitivity is given, that is denoted by Q 0.9, and ultimate strength is given sigma U 550 megapascal, and the yield strength 320 megapascal is given, and the endurance strength 275 megapascal, as well as the size correction factor K size and K surface. So these are the details that they are given. So we can know so what is Soderberg method and what is Goodman's method. So in the Soderberg method, so that is the line joins between the endurance strength to the yield strength. If it is a Goodman's line, it is the line joins endurance strength to the ultimate strength. So again, we can write the equations. That is sigma m by. So it is joins using the sort of Goodman's line. So we can joins ultimate strength. So sigma u plus sigma v by sigma e equal to 1 by FOS. So we can have the derating factors here. So we can multiply these endurance strength to these factors K size, K surface, and here we need to multiply with fatigue stress concentration factor K. And for the Soderberg line, we can instead of sigma u, we can take sigma y. So these are the relation. So we need to find out the diameter. So in the equation you can know. So the factor of safety is given. That is given in the data. FOS and KF is unknown, and surface derating factors are given, and ultimate strength and the yield strength is given. So we need to find out only the two values of stresses, or two component of stress values are required to apply the either Soderberg method or Goodman's method. Clear? Let us go with that. So again, I am noting the equations here. Soderberg method, that is sigma m by sigma y plus sigma p into kf by sigma e into K surface to K size, or what are the remaining derating factors that you want to. So it is a Goodman's method. So instead of sigma y, you can use sigma u, sigma m by sigma u plus sigma v into kf by sigma e into derating factor, that is K surface or K size, that equal to 1 by FS. So here I noted with the given data. So we can observe the surface derating factors are given, so which are useful for both the equations, as well as factor of safety is also is given. FOS is given, that is 2, and so surface factor, size factor, derating factors are given, and as well as the ultimate strength for the Goodman's line is given 550 megapascal, that is 550 Newton per meter square, and yield strength for Soderberg line is given sigma y, as well as the endurance strength for both the equations which are applicable here, sigma e is given. So only the two unknowns are here is sigma m and sigma v. So that is mean stress and variable stress. If you know the values of mean and variable stress, then you can apply these both the equations. Why? Because all the remaining terms are known values. So but here which type of stress that the machine component is subjected to? This is a cantilever beam, so that we are observed in the case. So this is the cantilever beam subjected to transverse load. So this is the given condition, isn't it? So whenever the cantilever beam subjected to the transverse load, the rod subjected to the bending. So the stress induces in this cantilever beam, circular with the cross section of circular member, So that is bending stress. So how the bending moment is to be calculated in the cantilever beam? So we know that so bending moment is given by m equal to so load into the perpendicular distance W into L. So we know that. But here we need to calculate so minimum load as well as the maximum load is given for fluctuating. It can fluctuate between the minimum to maximum. So that we need to find out so mean maximum load and minimum load. So similarly, you can take here the maximum load is given by maximum load into length, and minimum load is given by minimum moment is given by minimum load into length. So that we will get maximum moment and minimum moment. So whenever we will get the maximum and minimum moments, so using these maximum and minimum moments, we can find out the maximum stress or mean stress. There is a two ways. You can find out directly the maximum and minimum stresses. Thereby you can find out mean stress and variable stress. Or you can directly find out the mean load and variable load and then find out mean stress and variable stress. So either of the methods are accepted. So here I can going to follow to find out the maximum stress and minimum stress. Thereby I can find out mean stress and variable stress. We know that the formulas for mean stress. So that is you can find out sigma max plus sigma minimum by 2. Similarly, the variable stress can be found out by sigma max minus sigma minimum by 2. These are the two expressions we know for that. So, but for knowing the maximum stress and minimum stress, we need to find out using the maximum load and the minimum load. So that here the loads are transverse load that induces the bending. So we need to find the bending stress here. That is the maximum bending stress and minimum bending stress. So here the maximum bending moment is to be calculated. Then the maximum stress is given by. So which type of stress it is? It is a bending stress. So what is the equation for bending stress for the circular rod? That is 32 m by pi d square that we have written in earlier case. So 32 m. So that is m by z. So z for the circular member, pi by 32 d cube. So from that we can write here 32 m by pi d cube. So here the moment, which moment we need to take? So in order to find out the maximum stress, we need to take maximum moment. So here we can indicate 32 m max by pi d cube. Similarly, for minimum stress, we can use minimum moment, that is 32 m minimum by pi d cube. Clear? So, but maximum moment and minimum moment is known. So, why? Because the length is given, maximum load and minimum load is given in the data. So, W max, W minimum as well as L is known. So that you can find out maximum moment and minimum moment. But coming to the maximum stress and minimum stress, so here the diameter is unknown. So that so the total equation of maximum stress and minimum stress we will get in terms of diameter by d cube. We will get by d cube Newton per mm square. In terms of diameter you may get. Clear? So after that, getting the maximum and minimum stresses, maximum and minimum bending stresses here. So why? Because the cantilever is subjected to bending stress, we need to find out the maximum and minimum bending stress in terms of diameter. After getting the maximum and minimum stresses in terms of diameter, you can find the mean stress. So mean stress is given by maximum stress plus minimum stress by 2. Again, this will be in terms of diameter. So why? Because diameter is unknown, we need to find out. So similarly, variable stress is also you can find out in terms of diameter. So by d cube Newton per mm square. Clear? So in this equation, so variable yield stress is known, ultimate stress is given in the data, endurance strength is also given in the data. And surface finish factor, size factor given in data, and factor of safety is also given in data. And mean stress and variable stress are calculated here in terms of diameter. And here there is a value of Kf, so that is a fatigue stress concentration factor. We need to find out using the theoretical stress concentration factor and North sensitivity. If otherwise, unless otherwise it is not given, you can take it as directly as 1. So here the theoretical factor as well as North sensitivity is given. So that we need to find out the theoretical fatigue stress concentration factor using the relation of North sensitivity. We know that so Q is given by Kf minus 1 by Kt minus 1. So from that equation we can find out so Q into Kt minus 1. So from this equation, so we can find out the value of Kf, fatigue stress concentration factor. We can substitute in this relation. So we can get the diameter. So why? Because all the data you are known. So the mean stress and variable stress in terms of diameter. So by using the Soderberg method, that is the first case, as well as the Goodman's method, that is the second case. In both the two cases, we can get the two different diameters. Clear? This is how we can apply the Goodman's method and Soderberg method for finding out the diameter for the shaft. Similarly, you can also go with another example problem, the similar case. So here it is a circular rod of 500 mm length. So again, it is a circular member. So and it is simply supported at its ends. So at the two ends of the rod, so it is a simply supported member. So that both the ends are supported by means of bearings, and it is acted upon by a central concentrated cyclic load with the maximum and minimum values are given, that is 20 kilonewtons and 50 kilonewtons. The load is acting at the center of the rod. So again, it is acting at the center with the minimum and maximum values are given. So which can fluctuate between the W max and the W minimum, that is 20 kilonewtons and 50 kilonewtons. Again, we need to find out the diameter of rod. So by taking that is the diameter is need to be find out. So it is a circular member. Diameter is need to be find out. So the factor of safety is given, FOS, that is 1.5. Again, surface finish factor and size factor is given, K size and K surface 0.9 and 0.85. And material properties for this bar is given, that is ultimate strength sigma u, and the yield strength sigma y, and endurance strength sigma e. So they don't mention any of the method here, so you can use both the methods, the Soderberg method as well as the Goodman's method. So you can use both the methods. But here, which type of stress that the rod is subjected to? So here it is simply supported with the centrally concentrated cyclic load. So again, due to the, which means so there is only center concentrated load. Due to that, the rod may subjected to bending. So again, the stress induced here is the bending stress. But here it is not a cantilever to find out the bending moment using load into perpendicular distance. It is simply supported with central point load, so that the bending moment is given by W L by 4. So if the length is given or not, so it is the 500 mm length. So length is given and load is given. So we know that maximum load and minimum load, and the bending moment is given by W L by 4. You can take the maximum load, you will get the maximum moment. You can take the minimum load, you can get the minimum moment. So let us see. So it is given data, length is given, and maximum load, minimum load. It is so again I can represent here. So it is simply supported with the centrally concentrated load between the maximum load to the minimum load, and it is a circular member, and its length is given 500. It is mentioned here 500 mm. Here factor of safety is given sigma u, sigma y, and endurance strength, surface factor, and size factor. So we know that relations of Soderberg as well as Goodman's line method. So that is sigma m by sigma y or sigma u. So why? Because I am writing u or y. So if you go with Goodman's line, it is an ultimate strength. If it is a Soderberg line, you can take yield strength. So plus sigma v by. So there is no fatigue stress concentration factor is given, so you can simply take it as 1. So by sigma E into derating factor, K surface and K size, that equal to 1/5 FOS. So factor of safety is given in the data, and sigma Y, sigma U is given, sigma E is given, derating factors are given. Only we need to find out is mean stress and variable stress. So here, so These are simply supported with central point load with subjects to the bending. So bending moment M max is given by maximum load into length by 4. You will get maximum moment. Similarly, minimum moment is given by W minimum by length by 4. So we can get the maximum and minimum moments. Using these maximum and minimum moments, we can find out maximum stress. Again, it is a bending stress. You know the relation 32 M by. So that is here for calculating maximum stress. You can take maximum moment 32 M max by pi dq. So that you can get a maximum stress in terms of diameter. Similarly, sigma minimum 32 M minimum by pi dq. So M max and M minimum, maximum stress and minimum stress is known. So using this maximum and minimum stress, we can find out the mean stress and variable stress. That is sigma M. So that is sigma M is given by sigma max plus sigma minimum by 2. So here maximum stress in terms of diameter. So that the mean stress is also will get in terms of diameter. Similarly, variable stress is given by sigma max minus sigma minimum by 2. So that sigma V, that is variable stress, is also will get in terms of diameter. So we can substitute the values of mean stress and variable stress with the equation of Soderberg or Goodman's line, or in both equations. So the mean stress and variable stresses are taken from here, and the yield strength, ultimate strength is given in the data, and factor of safety is also given in data, and sigma is sigma E. So sigma V by sigma E, that is endurance strength, is also given in data. So that all the terms you will get. So sigma M and only sigma U are calculated in terms of diameter. You can substitute in the Goodman's line Soderberg line method. So first of all, you can find out using the apply Goodman's line. You will get one of the diameter. Similarly, you can apply the Soderberg line. You will get another diameter in terms of. So this is how we can apply the Soderberg at Goodman's line in order to find the diameter of the shaft. That is how the designs are going to be performed using these relations. So here only the thing we need to find out is, so they can give all the strength values. So only you need to find out is the mean two component of stresses, that is the mean stress and variable stress. Clear? So in the next class we will see how the combined normal stress and combined shear stress are going to be act. So with the fluctuating type of load, and you can apply the maximum shear stress theory and maximum tensile stress theory. Okay, thank you.